Welcome to Online Chemistry 2. I am on my iPad in Canvas. You can, hopefully, you're using a desktop computer. Um, how do you start the course? You should start with the syllabus. Okay, I encourage you guys to print the syllabus so that I find it easier to access a printed copy than a digital copy. But the syllabus is there. Read through the syllabus. Uh, be sure you're aware of class policies, etc. I want to point out the required materials for this class, the ebook, which I'll show you how to access in a moment. Um, the ebook comes with an online homework system called Alex. The second thing you're going to need is the virtual lab. You will have to purchase that. Number one, the ebook and Alex, that's included with the course because this is an ebook course. But number two, the virtual lab, that's not included. So you're going to have to purchase that. And then, of course, number three, you'll need a scientific calculator. How do you purchase access to the lab? You can either purchase it from the EMCC bookstore, or when you go to access the lab, you can purchase it online with a credit card or debit card. And I'll show you where that is momentarily. Okay, the next thing I'm going to go to is the modules. And the first module is just a student information module. Every online course at EMCC has all of this information. So read through the student information module. I will remind you guys later, but I want you to pay special attention to the honor lock testing guidelines because you have to follow those guidelines when you take a test. You have to be aware of them. They're here. And any violations of those testing guidelines results in a loss of points on your test, or it could be a 0 on the test. So just read through those and be sure you're following the testing guidelines. How will you work through the course? I have opened up the week 1 module. Now, it looks like a lot of stuff there, and it is a lot of stuff. This is Chem 2, but let me walk through these with you. This is the first welcome to chemistry. That's just me welcoming you guys to chemistry and just telling you a little bit of what this video is telling you as well. The introductions module, it's what you probably have in every online course where you guys go to the discussion board and introduce yourself. Then there's an orientation quiz. Use your syllabus for this. There's no time limit on this quiz. Every answer's in the syllabus. Guys, there's no trick questions. It's in the syllabus. So have your syllabus handy as you answer this quiz. Then as we come to the read and watch, and you'll find where I'm telling you, number one, read chapter 10. That's through your ebook. And then there's some YouTube videos for you to watch that are me lecturing chapter 10. I also post some end of chapter questions. I always do this on a read and watch entry. These questions are not graded, but they're extra questions for you to be sure you understand the material. Okay. The next entry is about Alex, the online homework. Remember, you guys have access to Alex already. That's paid for with the course. I just realized I put chapter 10 read and watch in here twice, so I'll have to go in and fix that. The General Chemistry 1 review, that's an Alex assignment. That's a homework assignment. Now, y'all, let me encourage you, when you're working through the course, go to the module. I find sometimes that students try to work through a course by using the course calendar. Well, look, do you see in the module you have items that have dates and points? Those are the only things that show up in the calendar. This read and watch chapter 10, it's not going to show up in the calendar, but that's crucial for being able to work the homework associated with chapter 10. And see, the homework associated with chapter 10, that's all you would see in the calendar. So work through the module. Now, let me tell you how I do Alex, and I have it pulled up. This is a Chem 1 assignment that I have pulled up, but your assignments are set up the same way, y'all. when you work an Alex homework assignment, you can access that as many times as you want before the due date. Due dates are always Sunday at midnight. You can skip around on the questions if you want to, and that's me just clicking on a different question. If you can work two of those questions today, when you come back at later today, tonight, tomorrow, it saves your work. And so you can progressively work on the Alex assignment throughout the week. Your ebook, do you see the 3 lines at the top left? I just clicked on those. If you scroll down to the bottom of that menu, the textbook is there. That's how you can access your ebook. Also, I want to point out in Alex over here on the right of your screen, there's different buttons. There's a virtual periodic table that you can access. You can also, of course, have a printed copy. When you're taking the test, the printed copies I provide will not have the names of the elements. But honestly, you guys are Chem 2 students, so you probably know the names of all the elements. But if you click on any of these elements, in Alex, it will tell you the name and also show you the atomic mass and etc., electronegativity, some other data you might need. Also in Alex, over here on the right, I'm going to click on the bar graph. There's different tables that you have access to, and you'll recall perhaps from Chem 1 your solubility table of when things are soluble in water or when they form precipitates. There's other tables that we'll use in Chem 2, like the Ka table, etc. So it's there. You have all those tables neatly organized in Alex. The Alex assignments, you can work any Alex assignment as many times as you want before the due date. So look, every question you get 3 tries per question. If you use all 3 tries, you can see up there at the top where it says question attempts 1 of 3 in that green bar. If you use all 3 attempts, you can still get all the points for that question. So the points do not deduct if it takes multiple attempts. Once you finish the Alex assignment, on Sunday night at midnight, it's going to automatically submit. But let's say you finished it and there were, 4 or 5 questions you really struggled with, you didn't get correct. If you'll submit the assignment, you can rework the whole assignment and I'll take your highest score. But realize those reworks, you're not going to just rework the questions you missed. You have to rework the whole assignment. So because I have Alex set up that way, that's me trying to help you guys have an extremely high homework grade, like a 100 homework grade. Now, I'm going back to Canvas. There's an entry here about the Achieve virtual labs. Remember, you're going to have to purchase access to those labs. And from here, y'all, it looks like a lot of assignments. But the Achieve virtual labs, all of these assignments are labs. So I'm going to go to the laboratory skills. It's not going to load here. But here's a big thing for me to point out again. If you're trying to work the assignments with the calendar, then only the assignments with points show up in the calendar. But this one, the laboratory skills lab assignment, those are questions to answer about the lab. You will not know the answer to those questions if you don't read the background and work the procedures. Okay? Now, the background and the procedures, you can read the background as many times as you want. You can work the procedures as many times as you want. But when it gets time to answer the questions about the lab, you can only answer those questions one time. I encourage you to work through the lab procedures at least twice. And the time it takes to do a procedure, it's going to vary depending on the lab. This laboratory skills, it will be a rather quick one for you to work through. But if you work through the procedures twice, you can record your data on paper. You're going to be recording masses of beakers or temperatures of solutions or what temperature you put the water bath on, etc. If you work through the procedure a second time, that's really you just checking everything you wrote down the first time. The beakers are going to weigh the same every time if you're weighing the right beaker. And so I encourage you to do the procedures twice just as a way to double check all of your numbers. And then the laboratory assignment is where you'll manipulate the numbers, do the calculations, etc. So there's an orientation assignment for the lab, and then there's a laboratory skills lab, and then there's another simple introduction to the lab, getting you similar. Do you see all these? That's one lab. And then your first real, those are graded, but the first real lab this week that requires you to use something new you've learned is the Avogadro's lab. And that's based on the gas laws. Okay, so I know it looks like a lot of assignments, but those are all labs. And all those Avogadro's law, that's one lab. The introduction, that's one lab. Laboratory skills is one lab. Okay, feel free to send me a Canvas message with questions. You can post questions on the discussion board. You can email me as well. Be sure that if you email me, you include which class you are in. If you send a Canvas message, I can tell which class you're asking a question about. But in an email, it's very likely with online students, I'm not going to know based on just the name which class you're asking about. So be sure to include that in your question. Okay? That's all I have for now. Let's get started.